What's going on? What's going on out there, everybody? It's Ron Brown, LMC, the People's Fitness Professional, reporting for duty, aka Soul Brother #1. I just want to let y'all know, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. I also want to make mention of this as well. This is a universal platform. This is a universal platform. We have everyone on here. I'm going to say this every podcast from now on. We have everyone on here. We have Moors. We have Moors from the temple, Moors that are not in the temple, Pan-Africanists. We have Black Panthers on here. We have 5%ers on here. We have just intellectuals on here in general. So this is not a predominantly or strictly Moorish platform. This platform was created for all of our people to come and express their ideas and things of that nature. So I just want to let that be known. Thank you, Brother Abdullah, Israel, PCR. Really appreciate y'all coming on and dedicating to the, twice a month. Man, I asked y'all to come on twice a month. You're here and you're doing a great job. All right, we're going to go into why shouldn't we call ourselves Black, Part 5, a.k.a. why shouldn't we call ourselves Black, Section B, a continuation of Part 4, reclaiming the stolen legacy of our Moorish estate. Peace.
Peace. You're right. So this is Part 5, why we shouldn't call ourselves Black, Section B, a continuation of Part 4, reclaiming the stolen legacy of our Moorish estate. So territorial sovereignty embodies acquisition of territory, loss of sovereignty, land boundary cession treaties, territorial jurisdiction, law of succession, change of sovereignty of a people in the United States Constitution, change of sovereignty of a people in the United States Constitution, acquisition of nationality through subjugation and cession, and change of sovereignty and its effects of the nationality of the inhabitants. So these are all elements of the international legal principle called territorial sovereignty. Nationality. This is the Sankofa bird. Symbolizes to look back into the past and get what you left, get what was forgotten, or correct what was wrong. The Sankofa bird with the fez on is looking back, grabbing his Moorish nationality. And standing on nationality. Nationality is interrelated to the following principles: national self-consciousness, national consciousness, national pride, national culture, national character, national coat of arms, national seal, national flag, self-governance, national sovereignty, constitutional self-governance, constitutional name, diplomatic protection, treaty protection, consular relations, self-determination, national name, and national identity.
Can you rewind that again? Go back to that. So nationality is interrelated to the following principles. I just want to read that. National self-consciousness, national consciousness. Okay, national self-consciousness. I guess, I'll ask that off air because, you guys got to, you got something to do here. National pride, national culture, national character, national coat of arms, national seal, national flag, national self-governance, national sovereignty. Okay. Now it's clicking now. Okay. Pardon me. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So starting in the 600s, 610 AD, Prophet Muhammad introduces Islam. 632 AD, Prophet Muhammad transitions. Also 632 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate was established as the first Islamic empire after the death of the Prophet Muhammad in 632 AD, with rulers such as Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, who were all close companions or relatives of Muhammad. The Rashidun era established the Islamic calendar, a standardized reading of the Quran, and other institutions strengthening Moorish Muslim communities. 640 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate expands its territories to Mesopotamia, Syria, and Palestine. 642 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate expands its territory to Egypt. 643 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate rule reaches the majority of the Sasanian Empire. 654 AD, the Rashidun Caliphate expands its territory to Cyprus. 661 AD, the Umayyad Caliphate, named after Umayyad ibn Abi Shams of the Banu Umayyad clan, with its capital at Damascus, is established by Muawiyah the first after the first fitna, which is a Moorish Muslim civil war caused by the assassination of Caliph Ali, who was one of the rulers of the Rashidun Caliphate. So this is showing Moorish rule in the 700s. 710 AD, Count Julian, a Christian nobleman of Ceuta, seeks assistance from Musa ibn Nusair, the Umayyad governor of, and his general Tariq ibn Ziyad, to overthrow the Visigoth king Roderick. This marks the beginning of the Moorish Islamic conquest of Iberia. 711 AD.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, so I like the timeline we're following here. This is peace. Now, when you speak of the Moorish Umayyad Caliphate, the Moorish, what were their phenotypes?
I didn't go into that, to the phenotypes.
If you look at the Ron, good question. If you look at the coat of arms and in Europe, these various European families throughout Europe, you'll see the phenotypes that look like me and you. Look at the statues and statuettes, paintings. You'll see the phenotype that look like me and you. Now, what they show, those who are claiming to be Moors in what they call the Kingdom of Morocco, they actually are taking our identity. Those Spaniards and French have taken our identity, and they're claiming to be Moors. Because the statues and the paintings and the coat of arms don't look like them.
That's a good point.
That's to say we just going back to putting that, as you said, that's a good point. Absolutely.
That's a good point, because I remember the coat of arms that you're talking about. I've seen many of them. They're all like really dark. But, they look like us.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right.
So these are, you got people that look like Donald Trump pointing to their connecting us because they have in their coat of arms. We are in their coat of arms, and this is throughout. You got even Southern Europe. You have Eastern Europe. This is huge. You even names. J. Rogers' book, Nature Knows Her Color Line, Chapter 6, the Negro as Moor and European aristocratic and the coat of arms of European families. I mean, there are thousands of coat of arms. And you also family crests. You have statues all throughout Europe. So how is it now that the Moors look like those in the Kingdom of Morocco? Like, how did that happen?
That's a good point.
There's no connection. It's just that we see, the Kingdom of Morocco, and you see, oh yeah, the Moors. But like I said, our people don't know the history. And then we clearly showed, Ron, in parts 1, 2, and 3, and starting with looking at going back to part 1, that the Black Moor in the 1560 Geneva Bible, 1599 Geneva Bible, and other references, like 30 or 40 references, is Black Moor and Blackamoor. For throughout the 16th, 17th, 1800s, Blackamoor was interchanged or used synonymously with Negro and Ethiopian.
Right.
Negro de Moros. Negro de Moros used in Spanish texts. The evidence is overwhelming.
Yeah.
So, great question, brother. Great question.
All right, now we're going to 17 AD.
Where we at?
713. Sorry, 713.
713 AD. Treaty of Tudmir is made as an agreement between the Moorish Muslim commander Abd al-Aziz ibn Musa and the Visigoth ruler Theodemir Tudmir in Arabic, outlining the coexistence and governance in the region of Tudmir, modern Murcia, Spain. Both parties agree that Theodemir will continue his rule in the southeastern part of the Iberian Peninsula and the practice of religious freedom, with a tribute tax for practicing Christianity called a jizya, and no assistance to enemies of the Moorish Muslims. So 718 AD, Kingdom of Austrias is established by Pelagius Paleo in the northern Iberian Peninsula. 718 AD or 722 AD, Christians of the Kingdom of Asturias defeat the Moors in the Battle of Covadonga, and marks the first time in history of Christian victory against the Moors, giving inspiration to other Christian forces. 750 AD, Battle of Zed, Abbasid Caliphate defeats the Umayyad Caliphate by combining forces with Shia, Khawarij, and Iraqi forces. Over 300 members of the Umayyad family died. 756 AD, Umayyad Emirate of Cordoba, with Cordoba as its capital, is established by Abd al-Rahman I, an Umayyad prince who fled Andalus, Iberian Peninsula, during the Abbasid Revolution in 750 AD. Battle of Roncesvalles passed between a Frankish army led by Charlemagne by invitation and support from Suleiman al-Arabi, a Moorish Muslim governor of Tula, today Toledo, against the Umayyad Caliphate. (800s AD), Cordoba, the capital of the Umayyad Emirate, later becoming the capital of Cordoba, and also known as a city of light during the Dark Ages, becomes the major center of power and knowledge, controlling a large portion of the Iberian Peninsula, Al-Andalus. 800 AD, the Aghlabid dynasty, with Karun al-Karawan as its capital, is established by Ibrahim ibn al-Aghlab, who was granted the province of Ifriqiya by the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid. The Aghlabid dynasty acknowledges the Abbasid Caliphate. However, they still exercise considerable autonomy and establish a hereditary dynasty. 846 AD, the Aghlabid dynasty raided and sacked Rome, establishing themselves as a major force in the Mediterranean Sea.
Hey, let me real quick, Israel. Now, this is important because this shows us our position of governance and rulership. So when he's talking about, when he's dynasty, you're talking about a line of succession, bloodline succession rulership, and also governance. And it's important that because and the way we're doing is to tie the international law principle of reversion to sovereignty and old and original state. So this supports our claim of our pre-existing sovereignty. And that meaning when you talk about the principle of reversion to sovereignty is to revert to a pre-existing sovereignty that we lost. So it shows that we were governing.
Yep.
So just to make the claim that we're Moors as some loose people, no, absolutely not. That we belong to this power. This is a pre-existing power.
It's showing the activity of our. Yeah.
Go ahead, Israel.
Said it's showing the activity of our rulership, of our sovereignty. But it's also showing how we were against each other as well. So it's showing what, we can learn from our mistakes. The Sankofa, look back, learn from our mistakes.
And it clearly showing that nationality, that our Moorish nationality is interwoven with our pre-existing Moorish sovereignty. So just making it the same that we're Moors, and make it clear that we're not presenting this to make it a point of interest. This is interest in point of facts. What are we directing the people to? A pre-existing sovereignty that we have an inherent right to claim.
Directing them towards the remedy.
Directing them towards a remedy. There you go.
So 900s, the second Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba was the dominant Moorish power in Al-Andalus. 909 AD, the Fatimid Caliphate with Cairo as its capital, a major center of learning, culture, and trade, was established by Ubayd Allah al-Mahdi Billah, challenging the authority of the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad, Sunni, on the grounds of claiming to be the rightful leaders of the Moorish Muslim community through heirship of the Prophet Muhammad's daughter Fatima. 909 AD, the Aghlabid dynasty comes to an end due to being overthrown by the Fatimid dynasty. 929 AD, Abd al-Rahman III declares himself as Caliph of the Umayyad Caliphate, marking a political shift, severing ties with the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad. 1000, 1000s, 1009 AD. The Taifa kingdoms emerged after the fitna of Al-Andalus, a period of internal strife and civil war which caused the decline of the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba's centralized power, as well as the death of power figures like Al-Mansur. 1040 AD, Yahya ibn Ibrahim established the Almoravid dynasty that exercised territorial sovereignty over northwestern Africa and parts of southern Spain from 1056 AD to 1147 AD. 1062 AD, Marrakesh was founded as the capital of the Almoravid dynasty. 1085 AD, King Alfonso VI reconquers Toledo. 1095 AD, Pope Urban II makes a speech at Clermont, France, rallying all Christian knights to crusade against the Moors for the purpose of suppressing Moorish Muslim powers and to strengthen the papal authority. 1096 AD, First Crusade against the Moors begins. 1099 AD, Order of the Holy Sepulchre is established. 1099 AD, Christian Knight Crusaders capture the holy site known as Jerusalem from Moorish Muslim rule. 1100s, 1102 AD, First Crusade comes to an end. 1113 AD, Sovereign Military Order of Malta, sanctioned by Pope Paschal II on February 15th, 1113, Order of the Knights of St. John of Jerusalem, Latin Ordo Fratrum Hospitalis, Sancti Ionis Hierosolymitani, also known as Order of St. John, Order of Hospitallers, Knights Hospitaller, Hospitallars. That's where you get hospital, word hospital. 1118 AD, Knights Templar, Hugues de Payens, a French knight, establishes a military order to fight against the Moors and the Turks, calling it the Poor Knights of the Temple of King Solomon, later to be called the Knights Templar. Last Grand Master, Jacques de Molay, Grand Encampment of Knights Templar of the United States of America, celebrated 200 years, 1816 to 2016. 1138 AD, the Siege of Shazar. 1148 AD, the Siege of Damascus. 1153 AD, Siege of Ascalon from January 25th to August 22nd, results in the capture of the Fatimid Egyptian fortress, the last Moorish stronghold on the Levantine coast, by the Kingdom of Jerusalem. 1171 AD, the Ayyubid dynasty is established by Salah ad-Din Yusuf Saladin, being honorable to the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad. 1171 AD, the Fatimid Caliphate of Egypt comes to an end due to the overthrow by Saladin, a Sunni general, and accompanied by internal strife, economic problems, and external pressure, including the Crusades and Seljuk Turks. 1195 AD, Almohad forces defeat the King of Castile, Alfonso VIII, at Alacros, stopping Christian advances and pushing them back. 1198 AD, St. John of Mata, Order of the Holy Trinity and captives.
Now going back to see how this is, he's chronicling this. Now you have various African scholars will chronicle, the type of inventions, we built the pyramids, or we developed the calendars and things like that, but they don't get into the rulership though, and all that's important too. So hear me out. All that's important: the calendar making, the pyramids, all that's important. So I'm not minimizing that, but they don't touch the rulership. So what Israel is chronicling is rulership. You're talking emirates and caliphates, governance. There's a 3-volume book by S.P. Scott, The Moorish Empire in Europe, and he chronicles this, the various caliphates and caliphs, emirates and emirates. Those are rulership. Those are governance, sovereignty, more sovereignty. Yeah. This is important that we direct people to this, a pre-existing sovereignty. So we can what? It's a remedy. That's our remedy here. We reversion to sovereignty as an old and original state. The recovery of our lost sovereignty. But you have to know that we have a pre-existing sovereignty to recover. Now, and know that we have the inherent right to recover, right, to restore.
The inherent right to recover and restore. I agree with that. What I've noticed is that whatever we state claim to, other people from different ethnicities or nationalities, they always try to shoot it down, and try to say it's not real, it's fake, and this, that, and the third, which would mean that to combat that, we would have to be up on our own scholarship. We would have to take our own scholarship to another level. So not only you brothers, but everyone listening who knows this information, understands this information, whether you are Prophet Noble Drew Ali, from Prophet Noble Drew Ali's teachings, or whatever teachings you come from, if you claim to be Moorish or Moorish American, then your scholarship has to be stepped up, because we're getting hit from all different angles with the claim that we are not. So it's extremely important for us to pick up the books and get better at being scholars to combat that. to confirm and affirm our Moorish nationality.
Well said, brother. Well said.
Thank you.
Indeed. Yep. (1200s). 1212 AD, Alfonso VIII seeks to reclaim lost territory by appealing to Pope Innocent III for a crusade against the Almohads. 1212 AD, Battle of Las Navas de Toloso between the Almohad dynasty and the Knights Templars, protectors of the Christian faith. 1218 AD, the Mercedarian Order, Order of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Mercy, was established by Saint Peter Nolasco in Spain to help liberate Christian captives held by the Moors. 1232 AD, Nasrid dynasty is established by Muhammad I ibn Nasir ibn al-Ammar, founder of the last Moorish Muslim kingdom in Granada, Emirate of Granada, after the decline of the Almoravid dynasty in Granada. 1238 AD, Muhammad I ibn Nasir begins to build the Alhambra, begins to build the Alhambra. 1248 AD, Muhammad I ibn Nasir established relations with Christian Castile. He paid tribute and provided military assistance to King Ferdinand III in the 1248 siege of Seville in exchange for recognition and a fragile peace. Saint Peter Nolasco was the first superior of the Mercedarians and also held the position of ransomer, the order being concerned with the freeing of Christian prisoners from the Moors. The Mercedarians were originally a military order of knights. Saint Peter himself was never ordained priest, and the first 7 generals or commanders were chosen out of the knights, though the friars were always more numerous. Saint Peter required of himself and his followers a special vow in addition to the usual 3 vows, to give everything, including one's life, should it be necessary, and even to the point of acting as hostages in order to free others for the redemption of captives and the oppressed, the blood vow. That was the blood vow, for them to give themselves as hostages in exchange for other hostages, other Christian hostages that were held by Moors. According to records, the Mercedarians accomplished approximately 70,000 rescues, including some 2,700 during the founder's lifetime. So they were training themselves to become captives. The Mercedarian Saint Peter Nolasco, founder of the Mercedarian Order, cathedral door depicting Saint Peter Nolasco and a redeemed captive person. Mercedarian, member of a Roman Catholic religious order founded by Saint Peter Nolasco in Spain in 1218 for the purpose of ransoming Christians who had been taken captive by the Moors during the Crusades. Founded as the Order of the Blessed Virgin Mary for the ransom of captives, it was originally a military order, i.e. a brotherhood of knights. (1300s). The Nasrid Emirate of Granada remains as the only significant Moorish Muslim-controlled territory in the Iberian Peninsula, Al-Andalus, with rulers such as Nasir, 1309 to 1314, Ismail the First, from 1314 to 1325, Muhammad IV, from 1325 to 1333, and Yusuf the First, from 1333 to 1354. Muhammad V also ruled from 1354 to 1359, and again from 1362 to 1391. 1340 AD, Yusuf I of Granada, emir of the Nasrid dynasty, seeks military assistance from the Marinid Sultan of Morocco, Abu al-Hassan Ali, to counter threats of the Castilian kingdom. 1340 AD, Christian forces led by Alfonso XI of Castile and Alfonso the fourth of Portugal, defeat the Moorish Muslim forces led by Sultan Abu al-Hassan Ali of Morocco, of the Marinid dynasty, and Yusuf I of Granada, emir of the Nasrid dynasty, in the Battle of Rio Salado, Battle of Tarifa, marking the last large-scale Moorish Muslim invasion of Al-Andalus/Iberian Peninsula, modern Spain, as well as Christian control over the Iberian Peninsula. 1348 AD, Order of the Garter, founded by Edward III of England to honor, reward, and to reinforce loyalty among his knights, particularly the 100 Years' War. 1362 AD, Order of the Most Holy Annunciation, founded by Amadeus VI, Count of Savoy. 1400s. 1430 AD, Order of the Golden Fleece, founded by Philip III, Duke of Burgundy. 1455 AD, Pope Nicholas V issued a papal bull called Romanus Pontifex, which granted King Alfonso V of Portugal exclusive rights to explore, conquer, and establish trades and lands south of Cape Bojador in Africa. 1469 AD, King Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella unite their kingdoms via marriage to strengthen their powers to fight against the Moorish Nasrid Caliphate. 1491 AD, Treaty of Granada on November 25th between King Ferdinand II of Aragon and Queen Isabella of Castile and the Sultan of Granada, Abdullah Muhammad XII Boabdil of the Nasrid dynasty, ending the Moorish Nasrid Caliphate in Granada. 1492 AD, Cristo Colombo sails west on a discovery mission in search of evidence of Moorish lands of the west, in which Spain acquired territorial sovereignty via the 1491 Treaty of Granada. 1493 AD, Pope Alexander VI issues an edict called Inter Terra Divina, which grants Spain the right to discover, conquer, colonize, and subjugate the indigenous Moors in their lands in the Western Hemisphere under papal powers. 1499 AD, Francisco Jimenez de Cisneros campaigns to convert all Moorish Muslims into the Catholic Christian faith. 1499 AD through 1501 AD, acquisition of nationality through subjugation, violations against the 1491 Treaty of Granada by Spanish Catholic monarchs, King Ferdinand of Aragon and Queen Isabella of Castile.
This is what they're still operating on, Ron. We're talking about today. This is what they're still operating on. This ain't over. This is not over. This is not some past history. You know what I mean? Let's move forward. Let's move in the future now. No, this is what they're still operating on.
Right. They're still operating from. They're still
absolutely
operating from 1491.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
1491. Yep. And then come 1492, blah, blah, blah. And then 1499 to 1501. Mm-hmm. That's key right there, right?
Yep.
And they have what? The annual or every Christopher Columbus Day. Yep. So what is Christopher Columbus Day? It's the celebration of the Inter Terra Divina. Yep. When you say discovery is the Inter Terra Divina. It's not the they found something. You know what I mean? It's not discovery in that sense. Let's be clear. This is very clear. When they say discovery, Christopher Columbus discovered America. When they use the word discovery, they know that they're not using it in the sense. I know what's in the textbooks. I know what they were taught in the textbooks in schools. Mm-hmm. They're not using it in the sense of their finding something. No, it's Inter Terra Divina. Pope Alexander VI, Inter Terra Divina, 1493. So that's what they're celebrating, and they're maintaining that. Yep. We gotta be clear, you know, because we'll get caught up with the You know, they didn't discover anything. You know what I mean? But people are here, but that's not what this is. This is a claim that they're making.
Yeah, they had to go find the evidence of what existed for their people, for this integral terra divina to be granted. They had to make sure that stuff, the lands actually existed. Because they didn't know anything about the lands until we was teaching cartography.
But it was all sanctioned by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella.
No, Pope Alexander the Sixth.
I mean,
the integral terra divina. That's Pope Alexander the Sixth.
Yeah, the Pope.
That is the father. He's the father of the paintings. That man actually existed. The painting that they call Jesus. Paintings all over the world. The paintings all over the world that they call Jesus. That man existed. That is not a made-up man. That man existed.
Caesar Borgia, I think.
Yes, Borgias. Yes. Michelangelo was commissioned to paint a picture of Pope Alexander the Sixth. He's part of the Borgias family. Mm-hmm. Son, that man existed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Caesar Borgia is Pope Alexander the Sixth.
Yes.
His son. Yeah.
His son.
Man, you serious, yo?
And you see how people have a picture of him on the wall.
We got a picture on the wall. Yeah, they got yes.
I gotta do the knowledge to that now. Hold on.
It's the Borgias family.
Borgia.
Borgia.
Yep. Yeah, I knew about Caesar Borgia being the so-called Jesus, but Pope Alexander the Sixth
is just the father.
Yep.
That is
Integral terra divina, 1493. Integral terra divina, 1493.
Is a Spanish Pope.
Mark 6, 1493.
Okay, so this is something that I got to research because that is, let's say if this is right and exact, right? This is actual fact, no refuting it. You can't at all. That is sick because that picture was in everyone's house growing up back in the day.
Absolutely.
Crazy.
My grandmother had a picture of that when Martin Luther King,
yeah.
And that picture was like placed side by side. Right when you walk into the house, right to the right of the house, my grandmother's house.
We know what that
I remember seeing that picture every time we walked to my grandmother's house for years, man.
We know what that does mentally.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
It's like a curse, right?
Because he's not a made-up character. He really existed.
But let's be more clear.
I looked it up. AI has just confirmed it.
All right.
AI. Even though people always got something to say about AI now, but
that gotta be, yeah.
All I did is type in the two names. And it just confirmed what you just said. Okay. This is spooky, man.
Y'all make the people conscious, becoming conscious, man, self-conscious.
Ooh-wee. All right, let's go.
1500s, 1502 AD, Spanish crown orders the Moors to convert into Christianity and thus called Moriscos. 1514 AD, on May 20th, the Corporation of Trinity House is established by King Henry VIII to raise money to pay the ransom of Europeans held in Moorish captivity. 1530 AD, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V grants the Knights Hospitaller the island of Malta. 1535 AD, Charles V of Spain attacked Tunis, then under the control of the Ottoman Empire. This is known as the Conquest of Tunis in 1535 and rescued 10,000 European slaves that had been held in captivity under the command of Khayr ad-Din, Barbarossa/Redbeard, and Ottoman governors of Algiers. 1540 AD, Knights of Rhodes. 1541 AD, in the expedition known as the Battle of Algiers, 1541, Moulay Ismail Hassan Aga of Algiers defeated Emperor Charles V of Spain and his large army. 1566 AD, King Philip II of Spain forbade Moorish language, customs, clothing, etc., leading to revolts. 1574 AD, Ottoman Empire defeated Spain and regained control of Tunis. This is referred to as the conquest of Tunis of 1574. 1588 AD through 1598 AD, bankruptcy, the economic decline of Spain.
Now, I want the audience to pay attention. Now, the 1500s, what's the 1500s? The so-called transatlantic slave trade, 1500, 1600, 1700. Look at our power. See, this is what they don't want us to know this.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we're talking about, you know, having power over them. We're talking about fighting them, seizing their ships, holding them in that captivity. Portugal, Spain. Well, let's look at the countries that was involved, that claims to be involved in this so-called massive taking over 12 million of us in the holds of ships for 300 years. Portugal, Spain, France, England / Great Britain, the Dutch Republic and the Netherlands. And look at what do they all have in common? They were all in what? Wars with Moors. They were seized by Moors.
Yeah, Moorish captivity.
Moorish captivity. This is and I chronicled this heavily in Moors and Masonry Part 1. Go to moorsandmasonry.org if you're interested in the book, Moors and Masonry Part 1. I have receipts, treaties, letters, diplomatic correspondence. This is in court. These are in war records in Portugal, state records, admiralty records in Spain and Netherlands, Oregon and Castile.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron.
Welcome.
And another thing, no one can start Black history in the 600s. Like they can't do what we're doing for Moorish history.
Oh no.
Right. So if you go like okay, Black history, they have to start with slavery because of the title or the terminology.
They just have to start right here in the 1500s.
Yeah.
1600s. Because King Philip forbade Moorish language, Moorish customs, Moorish clothing. Right. So Moorish had to convert.
That's the Pragmatica. That's the Pragmatica 1567. The Pragmatica 1567. Philip II. Absolutely. See? It's Moors. Don't say blacks.
This is the cause, and we're dealing with the effects today.
Yup. This history relates to today. Today
is 7:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 9/10/2025. Yeah. So Spain, then and now. Moriscos under Philip II ruled 1556 to 98. Under Philip II, the question of what to do with the Moriscos was increasingly debated because integration had not been successful and they were suspected of heresy. Philip was ever mindful of his father Charles V's advice on his deathbed to wage unrelenting war on heresy, support the Inquisition, and throw the Moors out of your kingdom. Carr 117. If there is anything that identifies Philip's reign, it is his determination to uphold Catholic orthodoxy, and in this he was actively supported by the Inquisition. (1600s) 1609 AD to 1614 AD. King Philip III of Spain carried out the systematic expulsion of Moors / Moriscos from Spain. Approximately 300,000 to 300 million Moors / Moriscos were expelled, primarily settling in North Africa. 1610 AD.
Bro, hold on. Yo, time out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you understand what you just said?
Yeah, large numbers.
Primarily expelled, primarily settling in North Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me read that again. Can you read that? Okay. King Philip III of Spain carried out the systematic expulsion of Moors, Moriscos from Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately 300,000 to 300 million.
No, not 300 million.
Yeah,
Is it three?
Yeah,
some
have counted up to 300 million.
Oh wow. Oh,
Yeah.
I never saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know millions, but 300 million.
300,000 to 300 million.
That's 300 million. That is 300 million. All right.
Moors / Moriscos were expelled, primarily settling in Africa, North Africa. So let's say if this is,
But it's definitely in the millions, Ron. It's in the millions. I mean, yeah, definitely the millions.
But let's say if these, let's say if there was in the millions.
It's 30 million.
And this is 1609 to 1614 AD.
Yeah.
This all around slavery and all of this stuff happening. And could you, when you look at Morocco today, that would make sense. If you look at North Africa,
Mm-hmm.
the shade of the people out there, that would make sense. The shade of the people out there, they are not really they're not from our bloodline, really.
But remember, I keep in mind, Ron, the people that look like us have been displaced. Palestine. Let's go to Palestine. Let's go to Palestine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're not the real. They're not the original. The original people don't look like them.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Because they were expelled, right?
They were displaced.
Right.
I'm talking about even in the early 1900s. In the early 1900s too. If you look at pictures of those in Palestine, Egypt, Palestine, they look like me and you. Early 1900s.
Okay.
What they've done, even in the Kingdom of Hawaii, China, Japan. I mean, we can go on. See what it is, Ron, is people looking at today. They're looking at today. They're looking at, so they're reflecting, they're thinking that the people always look like that. The Chinese always look like that. The Japanese always look like that. The people in those areas always look like that. Palestine, they always look like that. Israel, they always look like that. Egypt, they always look like that. The King of Morocco, they always look like that. That's not true.
Right.
See, they don't have a reference. They don't have a reference point to before.
Mm-hmm. Right. So now okay, now you put some new numbers up there.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That 300. Yeah. I heard something in the millions too. Because you have you talking about in Spain, all right? Because you also in England. England expelled a couple several 100,000 of us. England for a period of 50-year period. England 1610, the expulsion of Moors 1610. There's a couple 100,000. Yes.
This is
so it's not just Spain too. We got England.
Yeah.
Heavy expulsion of Moors.
Mm-hmm. This is an important part of history that, of course, you don't learn in school. And I don't think anyone learns in any school all over the planet worldwide. And so when we claim to be Moors, it's far-fetched for them because they believe that we are Negro blacks in color. So our history to them starts with slavery. Anything else before that, to them, we were in the jungles and you know, all that. Uncivilized.
That's yep. That's in their mindset. That's social. That's facts.
Yeah.
They socialize that way. That's facts.
Right.
You saying?
Now we're going on to 1610 AD, 1614, the expulsion and exportation of the Moors, of the Moors from Spain by decree of Philip III of Spain. Okay.
So you got 1631 AD, the Alawite dynasty was established by Sharif bin Ali. 1666 AD to 1672 AD, Al-Rashid, son of Sharif bin Ali, becomes the Sultan of Morocco under the Alawite dynasty and unites the country after a long period of regional divisions caused by the weakening of the Saadi Sultanate. 1643 AD, end of the Spanish dominance in Europe. 1671 AD, Order of the Danebro, founded by King Christian V of Denmark. 1687 AD, Order of the Thistle, founded by King James VII of Scotland. 1693 AD, Order of the Elephant, founded by King Christian V of Denmark. 1698 AD, Order of St. Andrew, founded by Tsar Peter the Great of Russia. 1700s, 1725 AD, Order of the Bath, founded by King George I of Great Britain on May 18, 1727 AD. Moulay Ismail exercised a strong central rule over Morocco, but his death brought instability and civil wars due to his sons competing for succession. 1748 AD, Order of the Seraphim, founded by Frederick I of Sweden on February 23rd. 1757 AD through 1790 AD, Sidi Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Muhammad III of the Alawi dynasty, restored stability during his reign until his death in 1790. 1786, Treaty of Peace and Friendship is established between the United States and Sidi Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of the Moroccan Empire under the Alawite dynasty, Alawi. 1789 AD, George Washington becomes the first president of the United States federal government, distinguished from the United States Confederate government, and sends a letter to Sidi Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Sultan of the Moroccan Empire. And this is the letter. George Washington to Sidi Muhammad, 1st December 1789. To Sidi Muhammad, New York, 1st December 1789. Since the trying to get it to where everybody can see it a little bit. All right. So since the date of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed to your Imperial Majesty, the United States of America have thought proper to change their government and to institute a new one, agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor of herewith enclosing a copy. The time necessarily employed in this arduous task and the derangements occasioned by so great, though peaceable, a revolution, will apologize and account for your majesties not having received those regular advices and marks of attention from the United States, which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct towards them afforded reason to expect. The United States having unanimously appointed me to supreme executive authority in this nation, your majesty's letter of the 17th of August, 1788, which by reason of the dissolution of the late government remained unanswered, has been delivered to me. I have also received the letters which your Imperial Majesty has been so kind as to write in favor of the United States to the Bashars of Tunis and Tripoli, and I present to you the sincere acknowledgments and thanks of the United States for this important mark of your friendship for them. We greatly regret that the hostile disposition of those regencies toward this nation who have never injured them is not to be removed on terms in our power to comply with. Within our territories, there are no mines either of gold or silver, and this young nation just recovering from the waste and desolation of a long war have not as yet had time to acquire riches by agriculture and commerce. But our soil is bountiful and our people industrious, and we have reason to flatter ourselves that we shall gradually become useful to our friends. The encouragement which your majesty has been placed generously to give to our commerce with your dominions, the punctuality with which you have caused the treaty with us to be observed, and the just and generous measures taken in the case of Captain Proctor, made a deep impression on the United States and confirmed their respect for and attachment to your imperial majesty. It gives me pleasure to have this opportunity of assuring your majesty that while I remain at the head of this nation, I shall not cease to promote every measure that may conduce to the friendship and harmony which so happily subsists between your empire and them, and shall esteem myself happy in every occasion of convincing your majesty of the high sense which, in common with the whole nation, I entertain of the magnanimity, wisdom, and benevolence of your majesty. In the course of the approaching winter, the national legislature, which is called by the former name of Congress, will assemble, and I shall take care that nothing be omitted that may be necessary to cause the correspondence between our countries to be maintained and conducted in a manner agreeable to your majesty and satisfactory to all the parties concerned in it. May the Almighty bless your imperial majesty, our great and magnanimous friend, with his constant guidance and protection. Written at the city of New York, the first day of December, 1789, George Washington.
Interesting document. Great presentation. Just there's nothing to even do but study, the information that you were given. Hold on, no, none of them goes to silver, not true. Full correspond. I don't know what's going on over there in that chat. I'm not even paying attention to the chat. Pardon me, chat. I'm not paying attention to y'all today. Anyway, thank you, brothers, for coming out and really, giving us more and more information. You can go into Civil Letter in the playlist in the YouTube, and you can follow from first video to now. If videos are missing, it's probably because I didn't put some of them in there, but if I didn't, I'll make sure I put everything in there. So you'll get all of Civil Letter or Abdullah and Israel's videos all in one thing, and you can watch one to all the way into now to get up to speed of what's going on. Thank you, brothers, for coming out this evening. Any last words, anything like that?
I just thank you for having us on here, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having us, brother, man. Great. Yeah, and I can say you're definitely been growing over the past 5 months, brother. We've been on rocking with you for about 5 months now.
Indeed. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you, everybody who's watching. We're about to do another podcast in 2 minutes, and we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.